Thank you for joining us on this edition of National Focus. I'm Mervin. Coming up, Dominica seeks to increase its market share in Martinique. OECS seeks to trade with Cuba, and OECS Director-General calls on the private sector to expand production. Details of our headline stories and others after the break.
There is a silent, invisible killer in our midst. A killer which largely goes unnoticed as it plies its deadly trade. Its name is second-hand tobacco smoke, which has a far greater impact on persons inhaling this poison than on smokers themselves. Second-hand tobacco smoke is especially detrimental in public places and negatively impacts our national health as well as public health expenditure. Stop this invisible killer now. Say no to second-hand tobacco smoke in public places. A public health message brought to you by the Ministry of Health and the Pan American Health Organization.
Thank you for staying with us. Dominica is seeking to increase its market share in the neighboring island of Martinique. The team of officials headed by the Honorable Trade Minister Ian Douglas visited Martinique last weekend to seek to establish relations with supermarkets in that country to carry Dominican products. Honorable Minister for Agriculture Johnson Drago also formed part of that team.
We have always supported and appreciated the work done by the hucksters in getting tons of our products out of Dominica. But the time has come for us to attempt to take advantage of the high-end market in these islands. And that is the hotel sector and the supermarket sector.
The Honorable Minister for Agriculture made mention of the work currently being undertaken in Dominica to deliver the quality of products that these supermarkets require.
We also explained to him the hard work we are doing in increasing quality and in increasing the packaging of our produce and the work that we are doing with our farmers down here in getting them certified for producing the kind of quality the high-end sector needs. As we speak, the opportunity exists for us to export between 5 and 10 of any of our produce to the main supermarkets of Martinique. And we are referring to produce such as dasheen, yams, tania, peppers, citrus, especially our limes and our grapefruits, vegetables, to name a few.
The government is in the process of opening and equipping its pack houses to aid in proper packaging of exports. The Dominica Export-Import Agency is also increasing its acreage of plantain, dasheen and hot peppers to supply these markets. The Honorable Minister says Dominica is prepared to take advantage of these opportunities.
Our farmers have been doing well. We'll continue to give them the support that they need. And as I speak, government is preparing a structure to ensure that there will be adequate fertilizer on the island at all times, because we know this is one of the hurdles that our farmers have had. The lack of input, sometimes there is a shortage. We will also ensure that the price is attractive so that the farmers will be able to source their fertilizer at their leisure. And as you know, government is additionally working on the purchase of a vessel so that we can export more of our produce.
Plans are also in the making to have discussions with Barbados and Trinidad. In more news, the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, is seeking to take advantage of the opportunity to trade with Cuba. OECS Director-General Dr. Didacus Jules says due to the relaxation of tension between Cuba and the United States, trade possibilities have become more feasible.
For 50 years, the Caribbean has consistently stood by Cuba And the Cubans don't forget their friends. Now that Cuba is opening up, they have said to us from the time of the CARICOM summit, in fact, even before the relaxation, the Cubans have been calling for the opening up of trade with Cuba, but because of various limitations with the blockade, that was not as easy to do as it was to call for it. Now that the relaxation is happening, there are huge opportunities for trade with Cuba. There are opportunities for export of certain goods and products.
He says locally made products are the ideal choice for export.
When you look at companies like Bellows, for example, and the quality of their food products, their pepper sauces, for example, we would like to have them exporting actively.
In other news, students of the Dublan-Bioche Primary School will soon enjoy better eating facilities. On Wednesday, the Honorable Member of Parliament for the Collioure constituency, Catherine Daniel, presented a check of $6,000 to school principal Joycelyn Alexis Joseph for the completion of a lunch shed.
Once when I came, I asked your principal, Mrs. Joseph, in what way can I help the school? And one of the things I saw she was doing was a lunch shed. I came once when it was raining and you all were just sitting outside on the concrete, some of you having your lunch. And I found that was very, not too healthy, and it wasn't a pleasant sight. So then Mrs. Joseph told me there was a project for a lunch shed. So I said, how can I help? So my first assistance was to help in providing materials in the sum of like $10,000 to help with the school. When I came back and I saw where it was, because I knew you all were very instrumental, very busy in also raising funds. I was a bit, when I concerned about your school not being finished, you had gone on Easter vacation, and to come back to the same unfinished shed. So I asked your principal, how much is needed to complete, and she gave me a sum. And today I am here as a former teacher, as your parliamentary representative, to present a check to the Dubla Primary School so that the project can be completed and you can eat your lunch in style and class. So on behalf of myself, the government of Dominica Labour Party government, I want to present this check to you.
The principal is grateful for the MP's continued support to the school. She says Honorable Daniel is not only parliamentary representative for the area, she is a friend.
She has supported the school in many ways. She has also given me personal support. So I am very happy that you are here. Even before Miss Daniel went into politics, she has always been a cheerful, giving, concerned person. And yes, I can attest to that because I knew her before she went as a queen. Her eyes are teary, but she has really been a great source of support to me as a person, as a wife, and as a principal. She has helped me too. So when we spoke about building up the lunch shed at the school, she was one of the first persons who said, I will try in any way I can to support you. And her support here today is not just because of me or because of any individual person, but as a support to the school, because a support to the school means that you're supporting every single parent who have children in the school.
In an exclusive interview with GIS News, Principal Joseph gave insight into the conception of that project.
The project started before my time. I only came here last year, and the principal before, the previous principal, started the project, laid the foundation. So the foundation was already dug out and measured around. And when I came, I saw it was a real need, as the previous principal saw. So we decided to pursue that. And that was one project that we were after, to ensure that the children get a place to eat. As I said, when it's raining, somebody has to come and see it for them to believe it, that the children sit anywhere. When it's sunny, they're outside, so they could take a chair, grab a chair and eat anywhere. But when it's raining, then they eat somewhere all under the gallery, or sometimes inside the classroom, and they may create some mess. which has to be cleaned up in time for instruction. So it's very valuable that they have a place to eat, sit properly, have their lunch comfortably, whether it's raining or sunny.
The parents, staff and students all made meaningful contributions to the project through a series of fundraising events and personal donations. The principal says the Student Council is particularly excited about the project.
Our Student Council have also made a donation towards the building of the lunch shed. They made popcorn and ice pop, and they sold that, and then I think they gave $50. It wasn't much, but it was plenty for them because it was through the efforts of sending their little ice pops and popcorn, and it was geared towards helping to build our lunch shed. So they are part of it, and they are still on a little fundraising drive. That is the Student Council on their own, doing their own thing. So yes, they have contributed as well, and they're very excited, and they want their lunch shed to finish.
The project began last November with a donation of $10,000 worth of materials from government. It is expected to be completed by the end of the school year to be used by the students come September 2015. You're watching National Focus. Still to come, OECS Director-General calls on the private sector to expand production.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is 2 courts in 1? The CCJ has 2 functions: an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
Welcome back. The Director General of the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States, Dr. Didacus Jules, is calling on the private sector to move into more production of goods for export. This, he says, is a means of earning foreign exchange for islands in the region. Dr. Jules says since the global recession of 2009, Caribbean islands need to adopt this approach to sustain the livelihoods of its people and grow its economies.
If you look at the private sector in the OECS, it is largely a distributive sector. The vast majority of the companies are import companies that put markups and resell. For our economies to grow in a sustainable way and to provide sustainable jobs and good livelihoods, we need to move beyond just distribution to production. So we need to cultivate a private sector that is largely productive, engage in the provision of goods and services, particularly for export, so that we can earn foreign exchange.
The Dominica State College Health Psychology class hosted a health fair on Tuesday, April 21st. Organizers advocated for practical steps towards better health, beginning with information sharing. Students set up booths with cooking demonstrations, model demonstrations, gaming activities, as well as health checks. President of the college, Dr. Donald Peters, says that the health of a nation is everyone's business.
It is important for the college as an institution to be involved in the health of a nation because our health is dependent on our ability to educate people about their lifestyles and the way of life. And it's also critical that that is being done almost single-handedly by one class. And so I would like to commend Ms. James and her many students who work feverishly to put on this event because I think it is critical and extremely important to the welfare of our students, but more importantly, the welfare of the nation. Our country is a small country of only 70,000 people, and the data reveals, epidemiological data reveals that things are not very good with us. Obesity is climbing in the United States. 4 out of 5 women are obese, and I understand from data produced by the Ministry of Health that we are getting close to that number. In our minds, there's no need for this, but diet and how we eat and our lifestyle determines to a great extent how we take care of ourselves. All non-communicable disease can be prevented, and it can be prevented through education. So it is important and probably opportunistic that we at the college should take the lead in helping educate our people about their lifestyle and their education, and that would lead to better health.
One of the featured speakers, Acting Health Promotions Coordinator Alison Samuel, spoke on the issue of breast cancer.
Like most cancers, the etiology of breast cancer in the majority of diagnosed cases is unknown. However, this increase begs us to develop an understanding of the modifiable and non-modifiable risk factors associated with this cancer, and to recognize the need to act now. Some of these risk factors include increasing age, and so the old adage that life begins at 40 seems to need a change to NCDs begin at 40. A family history or personal history of breast lumps or breast cancer, and this risk is multiplied where this link is genetic rather than lifestyle-based. That strong hormonal link, which women are unable to hide from, because like one gynecologist said, women are a bag of hormones. And of course, lifestyle and personal health choices or practices to include diet, physical activity, and social habits of smoking and alcohol use.
Samuel also encouraged women to take action to prevent breast cancer.
The onus is on all women, and especially the youth, to know the signs, get regular screenings, and take active steps to reduce the risks, develop screening habits which can assist in identifying breast cancer early, so that effective interventions can result in improved outcomes for individuals, families, and communities. Learn and practice monthly breast self-examinations. Get your annual clinical breast examinations done. Do age-appropriate mammograms as directed by your healthcare provider. But most importantly, pay attention to your personal health practices. Balanced nutrition, increased physical activity, no smoking as far as possible, and limited alcohol use, which all serve as a protective shield against non-communicable diseases. According to the Susan G. Komen Foundation, making healthy lifestyle choices has benefits at any age, and becoming more aware of your health can be physically and mentally rewarding at any point in life. So therefore, I urge you students and faculty today, let's begin that home run to health now.
Other speakers included Nurse Theophil, who spoke on diabetes, Lester Guy of the National HIV/AIDS Prevention Office, Nurse Sylvia Julian, who spoke on hypertension, and Dr. Lenora Favio-Drago, who spoke on obesity. The Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities has signed a 5-year agreement with popular Mero Beach Hangout, Romance Cafe. On Monday, April 13, the proprietor of Romance Cafe announced that her enterprise will donate profits from its annual Easter Reggae on the Beach event to the DAPD. The cafe will also donate proceeds of its month-long raffle to that association. To date, the cafe has raised over $1,800 for the DAPD. Meantime, a business associate of the DAPD has also come on board with its own idea to assist the association.
What was my plan when I arrived in Dominica? I talked with Frederick because I was really impressed to see so many people without legs and without arms. And I realized I was so lucky to get 2 legs, you know. So each 5 years, they say, you can change your leg in France. So they take my leg, they throw it away, and they give me a new one, you know. But I can keep it for 10 or 15 years more, you know. So it's still good, it's still working. So what I would like to do is to collect some used prosthetic in France, and arms, and wheelchair and cane, different stuff, and send them in Dominica.
And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le gouvernement Dominique continue de travailler pour la production agricole en Dominique. Parole celle-là sortie du ministère de l'Agriculture, Honorable Johnson Drago. Ministre Drago aussi plaisir pour la place qui Dominique tape en Martinique.
Je le dis merci pour ces femmes parce que moi ont fait bon garde. Ils ont planté pli à présent. Mon sauté a boulé tout partout. Et moi-même aimé ça. Mais je encourage ces femmes qui supportent le ministre là avec eux. Nous avons qui extension département by eux. Tout ces supporters a besoin. Le gouvernement aussi a mis un mécanisme en place pour faire manioc utiliser des plus cheap et puis pour dire manioc plus douce. Bah ces femmes pour ne pas manger manioc. Gouvernement qui dit payer à côté ça dans l'autre nouvelle. Mais quand on va parler gouvernement qui travaille ça. Mais nous le dit que opportunité pour nous ça pour plus produits à Martinique là. Nous avons travaillé ça. Et plus tard dans l'année, nous avons commencé à avoir plus d'achine, plus couscous, plus jambon, plus légumes en la place Martinique. Parce que c'est les légumes ça yo qui aller direct pour supermarket et puis c'est hôtel là Martinique.
La nouvelle organisation gouvernement local d'Alca fait présentation équipement pour autorité locale à valeur plus que $21,000 la journée. C'est équipement là qui servent pour mitigation des désastres si en tous les cas. Monsieur Yolande John Jules, c'est chairman d'Alca.
Ce qui fait cette chose, c'est nous taper un peu d'équipement pour un temps, mauvais temps, cyclone, diffé, vous avez voiture ou la dans falaise, moun blessé, c'est pour ça nous ba fire brigade, tous ces codes là, ouvrent nous ba là, nous va créer ça code pour aller, que nous pour halon bité mouté. En falaise, aller voiture, ces codes là c'est code qui bon fond, nous ba aussi un peu torchlight. Parce que chaque fois où ça va clairter aller, nous disons on bité avec clairter aller, il nous service pour clairer pour voir ça yo ka fait. Et nous aussi bah district, c'est district association district 7 districts Dominique, nous ba aussi nous ba chainsaw et aussi outils pour yo ça travailler si on cyclone fait, si on mauvais temps fait, chemin bouché, bien croisé, nous allons aider pour try faire vite, ouvrir place là, comme ça la vie continue à rouler normal.
La nouvelle gouvernement Dominique a poussé devant et puis plusieurs policiers et puis programmes pour faire assurer que le secteur agricole chaîne bien soutenable. Parole celle-là sur le premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt. Sinon Honorable Skerritt, c'est une initiative celle-là qui a fait plus aisé pour les gens engagés en agriculture et puis aussi pour habiter avancer production à cette occasion ailleurs. Et l'occasion que Honorable Skerritt mentionné, c'est Agriculture Investment Unit, bagay qui a assisté à habiter augmenter et puis production ailleurs. Premier ministre Skerritt a cru que l'agriculture est supposé jouer un pas autant significant pour l'économie pays là. Manifesto Libre Party Dominique l'année passée mentionné sécurité manger, travail, ça fait l'argent et puis pour touristes branchés et puis industrie, bagay qui ça bénéficie l'économie. Et puis finalement, commodité de l'eau autant important pour la vie monde. Parole celle-là sorti officier relations publiques de Wasco Edward Regis. Regis qui a fait parole que ressources là autant important pour nous en Dominique. Ça fait où là ici le pays où la monde qui batailler pour taper ressources de l'eau.
Nous ne pouvons pas aller loin pour nous ça voir que l'eau même sont un problème. Un pays Caraïbe là même. Nous-mêmes, nous avons un pile pays en Caraïbe. À présent, nous avons parlé contre manière gloyo, qualité gloyo avec quantité gloyo qui descend. Nous tenons Saint-Lucie. Saint-Lucie, c'est un pays qui presque en Dominique. Avec, il y a des problèmes avec l'eau. Jamaïque, Antigua, tous ces pays-là, il y a des problèmes avec l'eau. Comme ça, nous niglons toujours en Dominique, mais nous pouvons faire tout ça nous paye pour nous ça fait certain qui gloire été parce que nous ça perdu.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson, Saint-Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up next, your tip of the day.
Wash your hands. I am Adora Tuse, health educator from the Ministry of Health. Proper hand washing protects against the spread of many common illnesses and germs. Wash your hands often with soap and water, or you may use a hand sanitizer. Remember, clean hands save lives. Protect yourself.
A message from the Health Promotion of the Ministry of Health.
Tomato is a superstar in the fruit and veggie pantheon. Tomatoes contain lycopene, a powerful cancer fighter. They are also rich in vitamin C. The good news is that cooked tomatoes are also nutritious, so use them in pasta, soups and casseroles as well as in salads. Studies show that tomatoes and apples can reduce your risk of asthma and chronic lung diseases. To enjoy the benefits, eat 5 apples a week, a tomato every other day. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow us on Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Mervin. Thanks for watching.